Clobbered.
He's probably so mad. That's a foul.
Oh, dang.
Disappointing pass.
Oh, where'd he go? Oh,
Meg? Oh.
we're all over the
What can he
top.
do from here?
Ooh.
Oh, dummy.
Takes
No
the
Let's
way.
go.
another goal.
Did him dirty. Hey everyone, this is PESKY here, back to another FIFA 21 Pro Clubs video for you guys. And in this video, I'm going to be showing you guys this new wingback build that I've been using a lot in my recent games. I actually won the D1 title using this build as a center mid. Basically what you do is you make a wingback build because they're pretty well rounded. They got crazy defense and they're very fast. Their passing is decent, not amazing. Basically they're very fast and they got really good defense. That's really all you need to know. So it's perfect for a midfield slash center defensive mid role in pro clubs, and that's what I did. I really just focused on playing defense and being more of the playmaker and assister rather than the goal scorer. I left that up to my strikers on my team. But yeah, so let's move on with this build, and I'm going to show you the body type, the weight, and the height I have for this build, and then we're going to go on to the skill tree. So right here, as you guys can see, I'm listed as 5'10", 119 pounds. What I noticed editing the wingback builds, no matter really what height you are, you could be like 6'4", and your strength is still gonna be like in the 70s. Like the wingbacks are pretty weak in general. So I saw there was like really no point in making a really tall wingback. So I went with an average height of 5'10", and then since they're already really weak, there's really no point of trying to up the strength or get more strength. So I just went with 70 and went with the lowest weight possible, which is 119. Well, this is the lowest weight possible to get in that lowest little bracket for these particular stats, like these particular attributes. Like as you can see, like if I go up to like 121, the stats will change. But so you're gonna want to be at 119 or lower. It doesn't really matter. But I just keep my guy at 119, and then make sure you're on the low side of 5'10" like this, and then your stats will be similar to mine. Might not be the exact same since I probably played more games than you guys, or you might have played more games than me, so the ratings could be different, but don't be too bothered by that. It's not too big of a deal. Eventually, over time, as you play more games, your rating will go up like mine as well. Alright guys, so that's it for the physical side of things for this build, like the body type, and now let's move on to the skill tree. Alright guys, so over here on the playstyle screen with my wingback, you guys can see that I'm listed as a right wingback, 5'10", 119 pounds. Let's move on to the physical page and show you guys what I have. So on this far left side, I have all the way down to the jumping focus, which gives us +1 strength, and that'll go up to 70 strength, which is nice. And then it'll give us +2 jumping, and then I'll bump it up to 89 jumping. So you'll be able to win pretty much any air ball in the midfield with this build, because you are 5'10", it's not necessarily short, and you have really good jumping. Unless a dude is like 6'1" or 6'2" or taller and has better jumping, they might win the header over you. But other than that, you're pretty much going to win the header over most people. And I've actually won headers over a lot of computers, and the computers are naturally taller than 5'10". Most of them are like 6 foot or taller. So it's actually a really good build in the air for winning headers. Not necessarily heading on goal, but we'll get to that. The heading actually for a wingback isn't terrible, but it's not the best. So on this right side of the physical page, like every single build that I say, I have the second wind. So pretty simple, all the way down to the second wind. Moving on to defending now, guys. So over here on the defending page, really simple. I just have these first 3 rows. So if I take them off, we can look at the base defending stats, which is actually pretty solid. But again, I'm playing this mostly as a CDM holding midfielder. So I wanted to up the defense for sure. So 84 interceptions, 89 defensive awareness, which is crazy for a base stat, 80 stand tackling, and 87 slide tackling. So the stand tackling is already pretty low, like the base stat, compared to the slide tackling. Slide tackling is nutty. So what we're gonna do is just do the 3 rows, bump up the stand tackling a bit, the interceptions, that'll bump up the slide tackling and the interceptions, and then we're getting that slide tackling up even more, and then the last row, the 3rd row right here, will get us to 84 stand tackling. I like this one a lot because it's only 1 skill point and gives you +2 slide tackling. And then we have 88 interceptions. So very, very good defensive stats. The one thing that is kind of lacking, I guess you could say, is the stand tackling. One thing I think I used to try was doing this, but I really just don't think it's worth it because you get +3 stand tackling, but you lose 1 slide tackling for 3 skill points. I don't know if that's too worth it in my opinion, and it's 3 skill points, so it would bump up your stand tackling to 86. But I just think the high slide tackling is just really fun to use. 92 slide tackling is amazing. It feels like it's just a magnet to the ball sometimes, and when the guy's actually pretty skinny and lanky, being 5'10", and he has some pretty long legs, and that helps with the slide tackling as well, and you can have some dirty slide tackles with this build. I promise you guys, definitely try the slide tackling out. Don't be afraid to slide some people. Just watch out for the red cards, of course. But that's it on the defending side. Now let's go to dribbling. On the dribbling page, as you guys can see, I have 5-star skills like I do on most of my builds. If you want to go with 4-star skills, go ahead and do that. I assume most of y'all probably will, since this is more of a holding mid build. You're not going to be attacking too much. But I went with the 5-star skills because I pretty much like to do 5-star skills with any of my builds. I'm just a big fan of them. So I went with that, and then I went with the flare trait as well for the nice fancy first touches and the fancy passes that'll help you do like passes in pretty much any angle. Like backheel passes are very deadly in this game with the flare trait, so I'm a big fan of the flare trait. And that's it for the dribbling, nice and simple. I don't have these 3: ball control focus, ball control specialty, or dribbling advanced focus. Not too necessary. One thing I would like to point out about this build is the ball control, like the basic ball control stats. Like with all this added, it goes up to 92 ball control and 84 dribbling. You would like those to be a little bit closer than they are, but we kind of have to settle for it because the wingbacks already have like amazing ball control. So it's kind of like that with slide tackling and stand tackling a little bit too. Like the slide tackling, I'm pretty sure is exactly 92 and the stand tackling is 84. So it's basically like that. And then 88 agility and 84 balance is very, very good. Very, very good. I like this build a lot with dribbling. So now let's move on to the passing. So on the passing page, we have a few things listed here. So let me just take everything off first. And as you guys can see, looking at the basic stats, it's not that great. It's probably a little bit below average on some of the stats, and then some of the other passing stats are pretty good actually. Like 89 short passing for base stats on a wingback is very good, but 76 long passing is not very good. 90 crossing is amazing, 85 curve, solid, but 77 vision is not what you'd like. You definitely want more, but you can't do anything. That's just the basic vision stat, and you can't upgrade vision in pro clubs. So that kind of sucks, but we have to deal with it. Like compared to my other midfielder builds, like my center mids, my CDMs, the passing is not nearly as good in this build, mainly because of that vision. Like my other builds, like my midfielder builds will have like 87 or 88 vision, but this build has 77, and it does make a huge difference. Don't sleep on vision. But what we do to combat this is we're trying to get that long passing up closer towards that short passing. We're definitely looking to get that up, since you are going to be a CDM and you are going to be playing quite a bit of long balls, like over the top or like wide balls on the ground to your teammates. So we're going to want to get this first short pass because we kind of have to. And then we're going to get these long passes right here, long passing focus, and then we're going to get this other long passing advanced focus. So with plus the curve that we get with these and the long passing, that'll bump up our curve to 88, and then we're going to add this last long passing on the right, and that'll get our long passing to 84. The one other thing that you could do to get the long passing even more is adding this passing focus, which is something you could do if you're not doing 5-star skills, I guess. That is an alternative. You could put that on. But other than that, 84 long passing is very decent in my opinion. Not bad, not amazing, but very good. 90 short pass, really good. 90 crossing, very good, and 88 curve. That's a really good combination. With this build, I would recommend being the person taking the corners, because we've scored a lot of goals off me using whipping in crosses with this build, just because of that high 90 crossing and 88 curve. Very good crossing build, so don't sleep on the crossing on this build. So now let's move on to shooting, because that's it for passing, and let me show you guys what I have on this shooting page. Okay, over here on the shooting page, as you guys could assume, we don't have very much on the shooting page at all. So what I went for was just the 4-star weak foot. I wanted a 4-star weak foot instead of a 3-star. So when I do get in the box to shoot, at least when I'm shooting with my weak foot, I at least have a 4-star rather than a 3-star. And then it also helps for passing too. Passing on your weak foot with a 3-star weak foot isn't the best. They might not be the best passes. They won't be as good as they were if they were on your primary foot, like your dominant foot. So having a 4-star weak foot for passing is also very helpful as well. So that's what I went for. Basically, I just went on this right side and got this 4-star weak foot because it's cheaper than this one. Obviously, you have to get all that other stuff to get that weak foot. So I went for this weak foot. It bumps up the volleys a bit to 78. Again, this is a wingback build, so don't expect anything good for the shooting wise. I pretty much did not focus anything on shooting. Like when I play with my two friends on this team, they're both strikers and I'm a midfielder. So they're predominantly being the one shooting the ball. I'll go in the box and look for a cross or just like a one-time finish in the box, but that's about it. I'll try and dribble and make my own shots, but like obviously with these stats, 72 finishing, 71 shot power, don't expect too much offensively, like goal scoring wise with this build, but you definitely can get some goals with this build because I have done it, so don't sleep on that. And then the last thing on this shooting page, since I had some extra skill points, I do believe, and this actually gives you +3, like +1 heading accuracy on one of them, then +2 heading accuracy for the other one, and then the second one only cost 1 skill point, so that's a pretty good deal. 2 skill points for 3 heading accuracy, so I went with that, and that actually bumps us up to 78 heading accuracy, which actually isn't terrible, but you would like it 80 or above, but that's all right. That's not bad for a wingback. And then again, remember you have the 89 jumping, so you can actually win some headers in the box, because you're 5'10", decent height, not too short. All right, guys, so over here on the pace screen, as you guys can see, I have 88 acceleration and 88 sprint speed. This build is very fast with the high defending stats and that 92 slide tackling. You can cover some ground and make some crazy plays on the defense for your team and then help start the counter attack, and then hopefully which will lead to some goals. Yeah, so I've made a lot of tackles with this build, which have led basically to goal scoring chances or just goals in general. So even though you aren't like the main attacker on the team, the striker with this build, you can still help your team out a lot by making those clutch tackles in the midfield and then starting the counter attack, because that's how most of the goals happen in FIFA this year. It's basically a steal and then boom, counter attack goal. So this build is very good for that because you have that 93 stamina, which I don't think I mentioned, which is actually one of the better stats for a wingback, and including that 90 reactions, which is actually very good as well. But with that 88 acceleration and 88 sprint speed, it is very good build, and I like it a lot in the midfield. One thing before I wrap this video up, this build actually reminds me a lot of a player that played for Chelsea. I don't know if any of y'all are some OG FIFA players or remember this. Ramirez on Chelsea, the Brazilian. He was a very pacey midfielder, more like a holding mid or box-to-box midfielder. And I believe he had, on FIFA, for the most part, he had 88 acceleration, 88 sprint speed, somewhere around 88 pace. He had really good defending. Shooting wasn't that good, I don't think. Passing was average, and dribbling was probably average as well. But this build reminds me a lot of him, especially on the defensive side of things, because of that crazy pace, crazy stamina, and then the crazy defending stats. And then also, like, the body type is very similar to Ramirez, because I'm pretty sure he was around 5'10 or 5'11, if I'm not mistaken. Because the body type looks really similar to him, and it actually feels quite a bit like him from the, I don't know what FIFA it was, maybe FIFA 14, I don't know the last FIFA he was on, but way back then, it does kind of remind me of using him way back when on FIFA. So yeah, that's it for this build, guys. Again, don't forget to hit a like on this video if y'all enjoyed this and you want to see more player builds in the future for pro clubs, and also hit that subscribe button on my channel. I'd really appreciate that. Thank you guys for watching. Stay tuned for the rest of the clips at the end of this video, and y'all have a great rest of y'all's day. Peace out.
Play, says the referee. Well,
Of course, I was spamming it.
Slide tackles on these wingbacks are crazy.
Toure. There's a slide
There.
Sweat.
pass. Has a go.
Let's
Nice.
go. That was beautiful.
Real excitement up
Is that off?
I thought you
Is that
brought the
because of that
RB,
slide?
actually.
now they're
Let's
level.
go.
The touchline for
Grab you
what
some,
will be a
baby.
throw-in.
Ooh, got him good.
Players waiting in the centre.
Get that.
Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out!
Yes. Let's go.
Why wouldn't
What? I was just waiting for that goal to do that.
he was trying to come at you?
Dang, son.
Ran into Casey. It's bad.
How do you do it again? I don't even know.
I literally
left
trucked the
trigger,
goal
right,
to the
right?
left.
Yeah. I was just agile dribbling right there. Just agile dribbling to the right. I figured the goalie was about to do something stupid.